say, I remember. Let's come back. I find nursing is a privilege to be there at the forefront with people.
Yeah.
When they need you most. You know, you can't pull somebody off the street and say, come and look after my dad. He's got dementia. Or you can't pull somebody off the street and say, can you dress this guy's wounds?
Yeah.
But you're there when they need you the most. And even though we have all the other things that we were saying that's a bit negative about it, but in the end of the day, doesn't that fill you up?
No, it is. And you do, I can't say that I have ever, I always thought, like, especially being a student, like doing student placements, that people are like, oh, no, I don't want the student. I find it the opposite. They're so grateful that you're there, and you're actually probably the one that has more time to actually talk to them because the others are running around like headless chooks. Oh, that people are, I've never left a placement without someone going, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, it does outweigh the negatives, and I find it so interesting, and I've learned so much, and it's such an interesting career path. It is rewarding, and I don't regret it at all. And I know that these skills will take me around. I do wish, obviously, like anyone else, was paid more. But there is so many people out there who will never understand the depths of things that you see and the vulnerable moments of people's lives that you're a part of, whether they're births, midwifery, or their deaths, or their traumatic events. They will never, ever have a concept of it.
And just even that memory of that guy saying, thank you. Thank you.
I will for the rest of my life forget that.
No,
ever.
That's right. It's the little things.
Yeah.
The little things. Simon has a brown teddy bear from Mr. Chipperfield, a man that I nursed when I was very pregnant with him. And I'd spend 2 hours in the shower just making sure everything was perfect, because that's how much effort it took to shower him. He was so sick. Yeah. And his wife was there helping me. And when he passed, she brought in this little brown teddy bear for my unborn baby.
Wow.
And, you know, you never forget that.
No, it's not. And it's special, beautiful. 100%. You're part of someone's most vulnerable moment of life.
Have you ever seen any autopsies during your training?
No. Oh, God, I would love to. So, as I mentioned, my mum was a makeup artist in the film industry, but when she moved to Australia, she ended up doing that in First Ladies, is that what they're called? White Ladies, sorry. So she was doing makeup on dead people. And, yeah, I've always had a fascination with autopsies. I remember even at school in science class, you know how you get promised to do, like, dissect a frog or something? We never got to do that, and I've always been interested and fascinated with dead bodies for some reason. I like that side of things because it's a circle of life. Like, you get to learn so much, and I find it actually more respectful to the dead to learn something from their death. And I feel like there's a small part of me that wished I actually went down the doctor path, but I cannot go back and study for that many years. But I'm quite fascinated with, like, really the whole picture of life and death.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't. I wish I'd.
In the hospital training, we only had smaller numbers of groups, you know, 15 nurses, 11 nurses. So we got to see an autopsy, or we saw 2. And I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And I'd just come out of a lot of morning sickness, in fact, a lot of morning sickness. And we were good. With the first lady, she had fallen down the stairs, had some vegetable soup, had vomited and asphyxiated on the carrots. And to this day, carrots, really struggle to eat carrots myself.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
So they cut her from her neck all the way down to her pubic bone and take out samples of all her organs. I was fine with that, not a problem. It's a bit smelly. We had masks on, but I was prepared to see. I didn't mind the inside of a body. I love theatre. For that reason, I love looking at everything working and pumping away.
Oh, I love this.
But when they got the saw and sawed across the skull and pulled the face off the facial bones down to get to the brain.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, take me outside.
No,
I couldn't sit through that one.
Really? I wonder why they don't do that anymore. That would be so
I think
fascinating.
You've got too many people. You're talking about your future and you want to do your own beauty injectables. Is there not plenty around with Absolute Cosmetic and all these ones?
There is. So what I have at the moment while I'm studying is, for example, I do high-intensity magnetic therapy. So basically machines that shock your body, create hypertrophy, hyperplasia, and then that process burns fat. So there's an element of a lot of machines that you can have where you can be a one-man shop. Like I have a home salon and I do things like this, and it's a good way to work from home, put yourself through uni. So it's not beauty as in getting your eyebrows done or getting waxed or tinted. It's more aesthetics and fat burning, or can be used as rehabilitation after surgeries.
Okay.
But when I graduated as a nurse, I want to take that into the health element of Botox and all the jazz of lip fillers, because to be honest, while there is a lot of people that do that, there is a huge profit margin. And I have no interest in being a multi-chain franchise with, 7 people under me. But as a one-man shop, I've got a number of friends that do, and there's a great profit margin. And there's a lot of people in the world. So there is enough people to go around that want to do this. And anti-aging is a phenomenal trend that's not going to go anywhere. More harder people work, the more money they have to spend on these luxuries. So medically, it's boring. It's not something I want to do for my life. It doesn't interest me. Financially, it does.
Get ahead.
Yeah. So it's a way to build money. It's like I myself get those procedures done. But I wouldn't just want to do it in the aesthetics. I'd want to do it, as I said, in not the whole beauty of eyebrows and lashes. I want to do health and wellness, and maybe slightly edging on the post-therapy of sports science. And you can get sort of acupuncture where you put the electrodes on and it desensitizes muscles, which is kind of similar to what I do. I do cardiovascular health with medical grade light therapy of different frequencies and depths. So it's more in depth than just turning up to a beauty salon, but I want to actually take that further, make my money, and then I would like to devote time to charity and to getting experience in ED. That's my pie, and that's the balance of making money but being mentally stimulated.
So I'm going to ask you a question here. I've never understood why people have Botox in their face or lip fillers in their face, because while you might think your face is not aging, your body still ages.
Yeah, so I believe it's a perception. So when you look in the mirror and you get dressed every day and stuff, you can hide your neck collage, you can hide the wrinkles and stuff, but there is again, it's a rabbit hole of social media and perception of what's acceptable these days. I started Botox at 25 because it does actually not anti-age, it just stops you using those muscles. So by the time I get to 36 and I stop, my face does generally, more so without makeup, look younger than other people that are my age. Mm-hmm. I'm of the perception, I'm single at 36. I understand aging. I don't want to be one of those people that can't grasp it, but I'm just not quite ready yet, particularly also because I haven't settled down on all that sort of stuff. But I do get that mental health images these days is not just what you want for someone else. People always assume that because you post a sexy picture or anything that it's for someone else. It's also for your own perception. We now live so much longer than we ever used to. You used to die at 65, 75. You live into 100 these days. You got 10 to 15, being a kid, 15 to 20 being a teenager, 20 to 40 figuring out what the hell you're going to do, 50 getting kind of there, and then 60 onwards you're old. So you've got...
Wait. I'm over 60 with a bit of change.
I mean that so I'm saying that you've got probably 20s to 40s of what people generally consider traveling, finding partners, partying, doing all this stuff. 20 years of 100 span life is nothing. 1/5, nothing. And then people say when you're older, okay, I'll say 80, 70,
90.
Whatever. So reality, you've got a very small window of the 100 years where you really are in your element. So I understand why people want to prolong that, and people physically want to look at the mirror and see a reflection, because your body might age, but your mind doesn't. You look in that mirror and you see a face that's not mirroring your energy or your attitude.
Yeah.
So I get the side of aesthetics. I don't want to portray, the cat lady or
no,
taking
it's gone too far, and I think that's the issue I have, is that
you need to have responsibility.
It's being taken too far and people don't know when to stop, and then they start to look totally different.
So I will say I recently had my lips dissolve. So I had 10 years ago I started lip fillers, and they say that your metabolism breaks it down, but what happens is generally a little bit of residual will aside, right? And then they learn from their technique. So originally they would inject from above, but you're putting holes in from above. So what they found out years later is the filler will eventually go up into those holes. So it will migrate. So my lips, fast forward a year ago, were front on fine, but side on, I look like ridiculous. I went through the whole dissolving process. I went back to nothing because no injector ever stopped me and went, maybe we shouldn't put another mil in, get it dissolved, start again. No one ever said that. All thinking of their bottom dollar.
Exactly.
Until I met a clinic in Freo, actually, where they're all doctors. And this one lady was like, no, you look ridiculous. I hate it. I'm not touching it until you get rid of it. You look at her face and bless her, she's got nothing done. But her whole clinic and business survives on beauty. But she's very to the point. She won't touch it. She doesn't like it. And she's the first person that I've met that is straight
Sensible.
to the point, sensible. Skinbox Clinics, I'll give her a little shout out, Dr. Sarah. And she dissolved everything in my face, started again.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's the maximum you're allowed to get.
And yet we're supposed to be aging naturally. That's the new hip thing. When skinny was the thing and now it's big bums are the thing.
Yeah.
And we can't change our body to suit a fashion or to suit anything.
No.
So just
I'm a big believer in, I'm very confident in myself, but I do everything that I do to myself for myself.
Yep.
I am not doing this for the likes on the Instagram or I couldn't give a shit. I want to look in the mirror and go, I look good. That's all I care about is how I feel, not anyone else. But yeah, I am a big believer that if you're going to be a part of that industry, you need to think about what's the best interest of your patient.
Yep.
Not what's going to keep them coming back.
Exactly. Not the on sell.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I wish you well with that.
Thank
I
you.
like the fact that you're not going to be a multinational company that's going to have untold franchises everywhere.
No. I just want to make money so I can do other stuff I like.
Yeah. And that's traveling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're doing your nursing so you can travel.
one of the biggest things I want to learn Spanish. I've wanted to learn this for years because Spanish is the second biggest language in the world. If I combine nursing with Spanish, opportunities are unlimited.
Oh, God, I'm off to Spain in about 80 days.
And
I know nothing.
Oh, wow. What part?
Ole.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere.
Hola.
I'm just going for a drive.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yeah, you'll be wicked. So I'm really excited to just work other places in the world.
Fantastic. Oh, it's lovely to meet you, Hayli. We didn't meet each other before today.
Yeah.
It was really good.
I've never done a podcast before. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good fun. And that's what it's all about. It's just meeting new people and having conversations and hearing their story. It's wonderful.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a nurse that doesn't have stories.
Well, we'll have it out there soon and people can start writing in and we'll contact them.
Yeah, cool.
But it's so much better to come into the office to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people have driven 150 miles 150 kilometres. No, I am actually listening to American podcasts. 150 miles to go to speak in a podcast.
Really?
So driving to Fremantle's nothing.
No, I find it really cool because it is another perspective that the public will never really get. And then other nurses also feel like, I experience that all the time or, they'll relate to it for sure.
Yep. It's worth the drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Nurses. To find more episodes, head to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. If you are a nurse with a story to share, send us an email at nurses@barefootmedia.co.